Hello and welcome to Own Your Peace. I am your host, Andie Thueson, and today I want you to think about this. We were not meant to hustle for crumbs. We were meant to sit at the table with our names engraved in gold, and with Lionsgate wide open this week, the Cosmos are literally holding and handing us the mic, ready for us to speak our wealth into being. Let's dive into how we can actually tap into more prosperity, more abundance in our lives, because there's clues. There's clues on our birth chart of how we are meant to manifest more in our lives. And with it being the Wednesday before Lionsgate, and then we have that huge conjunction on Monday, this is a great time for us to talk about your money story, my money story, our money story, and how we can tap into more abundance. Because I believe that every single one of us on this planet at this time are meant to be rich. We are meant to live in prosperity. And this whole signaling of struggle, of lack, of scarcity is programming within the matrix to keep us small and to keep us in fear and to keep us controlled. Because let's think about this. If everyone had more than enough money, and let's be honest, there's more than enough money on this planet for everyone to be crazy rich. Like crazy rich Asian rich. If you watch the movie, I love that movie. It's such a great embodiment of feeling that wealth. So if you're wanting to feel into wealth and prosperity, that's a great movie to dive into and just feel the vibes of how amazing life can be when you're in that kind of wealth and abundance. Just a little side tangent there. But I really do believe that there is more than enough for all of us to be crazy rich, to step into our highest levels of abundance. But this is going to take some work and shifting because so many of us have been conditioned to live in scarcity, to live in fear, to live in lack and struggle because we feel like that's part of what we're here to do, whether that be religious conditioning, whether that be ancestral conditioning, whether that be family language. These are things that are bred into us from a very early age. I remember being really small and always hearing my parents fight about money. And we did not grow up rich. We actually grew up really poor. For most of my life, if I wanted new clothes, we had to go to the DI, which is a thrift store. And we were given a list of items that we could get from the thrift store for our back to school clothes. I also remember at times going garage selling, and that is where we got our new clothes. So I have been there, friend. I have been where we did not have money. I have been where we didn't have food and we ate eggs because that was all we had for a week. But nowadays, we'd be living large if we ate eggs for a week. But at that time, that was what was affordable. That's what we had. So I made egg and bread sandwiches for an entire week till we could, till my parents got paid and we had money for groceries. So I have been there. And there's a lot of weight to my money story that I myself, as an adult, is constantly learning to how to deprogram and step out of. So I understand if you have a lot of those money stories. And I want to tap into this as we go into Lionsgate. A lot of these shadows are going to start showing themselves beforehand. So here we are Wednesday before Lionsgate. A lot of these things are probably already starting to come in, these stories that need your attention. And if you haven't already, I have an amazing Lionsgate guide with journaling prompts for you to really get into this energy and work with it. So there's a link in the show notes to grab that guide if you haven't already got it. All the people on my newsletter, it should be waiting in your inbox there. So just a reminder there. Okay, let's get back into redefining prosperity and why Lionsgate is the exact moment for this. What is prosperity really? When we think about this, prosperity isn't just numbers and a bank account. It is a vibe. It is how we feel safe, how we feel seen in our work and our life. It's how we feel valued when we have that prosperity. It's a whole lot easier for us to feel worthy when we've got money coming in. When things are not that way, we start to tie that to our worth. And that is one thing I want to crack right open right now is your worth is not tied to a number. You are worthy because you exist. And the more you put energy into knowing your amazing worth and what value you bring to the table, that is what the universe, God, source responds to is how you feel about yourself. So the more confident you are, the more you know your value, the more wealth and prosperity will continue to show up for you. So we need to keep that in mind. Prosperity is a vibe. It is a feeling. And the more we step into feeling that energy, the more we attract to ourselves. So the more you can get in the energy of being prosperous, like watching movies that have those energies of wealth and prosperity, going to friends' houses who have money, or going into neighborhoods and malls that have that really luxurious feeling. Step into those energies as much as you can and soak them up. Anytime I go someplace, for example, my friend and I went to this little reflexology foot spa a week ago, and it was so luxurious. It was so bougie. I absolutely loved every minute of it. And the whole time I was there, I was just soaking it up. This is the life I was meant to live. And I encoded the codes of that wealth. I would love to be able to go do that every week. It was so fantastic. Not there yet, but we'll get there. So just think about how you can find these little ways to allow yourself to embody that prosperous energy when there might not necessarily be the numbers in the bank to back it up. We're getting that, right? I want you to remember too that this is a huge thing. Your self-worth is your earning potential. The more you honor your truth, the more you expand your receiving field. So the more we feel confident in who we are and what we bring to the table, the more this universe has no excuse but to back up that energy and the vibe. That's why I shared this in my stories a couple days ago. There's a reason why people who we think are bad, or who are not necessarily upstanding citizens, or even kind human beings, from outward looking, look like they have everything. They have the bank accounts, they have the cars, they have the house, all these things that we desire. And we're over here being big hearted, kind humans, and we're struggling. We're not doing as well as we hoped we would be doing at this point in our life. And the difference between the two, and I honestly believe this, is they know their worth. They know that they're not going to take less than. We're over here, we're givers at heart. We're soul-led humans where we know that the more we give, we get back. But we have been programmed with guilt. We've been programmed with shame, with fear, and all of those things are money blockers. A magnet attracts, but it also repels. So when we step into the energy of I'm amazing, what I have to sell, what I have to offer is going to change people's lives because I have done the work and it's amazing and they're going to benefit from this. And you know your worth. You stick to your worth. Money is attracted to you because it knows and it feels that you value yourself. But if you are feeling guilty or shamey or wrong, or there's so many ways that we tie guilt and shame and fear to money, and it is going to turn that magnet around. It's going to repel money from you. So get in the habit of whenever you catch yourself in a thought spiral about money and it's tied to fear, it's tied to guilt, it's tied to shame, that's a moment and an invitation to stop, hit pause, and reframe. Okay, I have a lot of fear around money. Okay, right now I'm in fear of it. It's going to run out, or I don't have enough of it, or whatever your situation is. Hit pause. And I want you to think in that exact moment, what's the best thing that could happen? I might get a check in the mail I didn't even know was happening, or I could be surprised by a new job, or there's so many ways that we can change that thought into a positive one and have that energy go to an attractive energy as opposed to that repelling energy. So keep that in mind. The more we honor our value, the more we hold our value, and we know that we have magnetic good offers, or we're an amazing employee and we show up and we do what we're meant to, and where would they be without us? Energy, that's going to be more attractive, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, and then we tie this to the Lion's Gate portal, which is August 8th. This is when Sirius aligns with the sun in Leo. This is a cosmic portal of power. It's royalty and purpose. Think of it as your yearly soul wealth activation. Time to be seen, supported, successful by design. So again, 8-8, tying into numerology, it's about power. Abundance is always tied into the number 8. And so we tie August 8th, 2025, and that numerology comes out to an 8 overall. Every Lion's Gate is potent and for different reasons. And for that, there's a lot of numerology to back this up with the abundance. So I want you to think about, before we kind of go on to some of the other areas to look at on your human design chart, on your astrology chart, when we're thinking about redefining prosperity. When do I feel richest, regardless of what's in my bank account? That's a thing that I really want to nail and get you to get, is that your prosperity and your bank account numbers change when you're thoughts and your beliefs and the way that you value yourself changes. The more you become a main character in your own life and you own how amazing and awesome you actually are, because every single one of us was born for a purpose and we have magic within us. And that is something I want to just drive home, okay? And when you back that up, that's when everything shifts and changes. But it is an internal job, and you've got to do the work to clear out those icky mimey stories that we all have from our upbringing or from conditioning, and really switching those to, it doesn't matter if I grew up poor and I didn't have the name brand clothes and all the things that, that made us feel less than growing up. I attest to this. There's a lot of times I felt less than. I grew up in a really rich high school, and we were definitely not that. I did not have the clothes. And that will mess with you. So untangling those stories and allowing yourself to believe that you're name brand, you're the Gucci, you're the Louis Vuitton, and owning that energy. Don't let anybody treat you like a knockoff. Now, moving on to the first astrological placement I want to dive into, and that is Venus. So Venus is all about our value. It's our pleasure. It's our money magnetism. So Venus is the goddess of love. So when we have love in our lives, we value ourselves. We treat ourselves better. And again, that's attractive energy. So when we step into the energy of our Venus placement, we are going to become more magnetic. People are going to be more drawn to us when we're owning this energy. You can go on TikTok, and there's all kinds of TikToks about dressing like your Venus type to make you more sexy. These are things that we can do with our Venus sign. We're not going to talk about that in this episode. Maybe I'll do another episode about that. But with this, Venus is really stepping into your money, your love, your beauty, and your pleasure frequency. So I'm going to go through each of these different signs. And this is your money signature. This is how you're meant to be attractive and pull money into your life. So I want you to look for your Venus placement. And Venus is going to look like a little stick figure with no legs. So it's just the full stick, a little circle on the top, and then arms going through it. That's what Venus looks like on your birth chart. So you're going to be looking for that on your birth chart. Again, the link is always in the show notes for how to pull a chart on my site, and that's always free. Okay, so if you have an Aries Venus, you are meant to be this warrior energy. You're meant to be really bold, be very pioneering. You are meant to be the abundant shot taker. You act fast and you monetize what excites you. Just think about Aries energy is very fiery. It goes after what it's want. So if you're an Aries Venus and you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for your life to happen, that's not in alignment. You're meant to really step up and step into what you want in this lifetime. That's the energy that you're meant to embody. Now, Taurus, on the other hand, embodied, sensual, it's slowing down and allowing yourself. It's a very feminine energy. It's more receptive than going after things. So you're going to build through beauty, comfort, and consistency. Let luxury be your bare minimum. We can set those energetic bare minimums. So you are going to have this bare minimum of luxury. You will not accept less than first class tickets, less than all-inclusive vacations with the top tier stuff. You have to get into that energy of not accepting less. And again, Taurus energy, you are here for the pleasurable life experience. You are here to be on the physical plane and to very much be partnered with it, to manifest, to step into it. So if you're a Taurus, and especially with a Taurus Venus, and you have been feeling guilty your entire life about wanting the bougie nice things, let's slap that right out of you. You're meant to have bougie vibes. You're meant to want to have the nicer things, especially with a Taurus Venus. Now, moving on to a Gemini Venus. So if you have a Gemini Venus, you're communicative, you're quick-witted, you're here to talk, to teach, to write, and have very creative and a huge variety of income coming in. So the biggest thing I want you to think about is if you are a Gemini Venus, is your words are your currency. When you talk, you make money. These are people who could be public speakers. They could be podcasters. They could be people who are thought leaders on TikTok and on social media. This is so important for you to know that your words are your currency. They carry codes. People are unlocked when they are listening to you. If you're thinking, I wonder what Andie's Venus is, this is mine. My words are my currency. So for me, showing up every week, sending out emails, using my words is how I'm meant to attract wealth and abundance to myself. I guarantee you, the more that I show up, the more I share what's on my heart and my mind, the more emails I get, the more DMs that people want to work with me and they want to connect with me because in my words, I'm coding you. I'm helping you up a level because that is what my words are meant to do. Anyone who coaches with me knows this. I am unlocking you. I'm cracking you open and we are not doing boring anymore. We are stepping into your highest best self and we are finding how to do that with the tools that you were given. So if you're an Aries Venus and you're like, oh, I'm moving slow, like that's not working for you. Let's step into how you were meant to express yourself. And that is where we unlock your abundance codes is by putting you in the right energy. There's so many different placements when it comes to branding yourself and putting yourself out there, especially if that's what you're wanting to do as a soul-led leader. So side tangent there. Just remember, if you have a Gemini Venus like myself, you like to talk and your talking makes you money. So keep talking, friends. Don't feel guilty about being the chatty one in class. You're meant to be. Okay, now moving on to my Cancer Venus. You are meant to be nurturing, emotionally and intuitive. Earn your emotional labor through intuitive work, whether that be in marketing or within whatever it is that you are drawn to. Use your intuition as part of that. There's so many ways that I wish more mainstream companies would tap into intuition. They would tap into what they're feeling that the market wants. This is where this can be really magical for a Cancer because they're tapping in to what's not being said. To really nurture your gifts, mother yourself and you take care of your gifts and you nurture them, then they are going to nurture you right back. And that's super important to remember. Okay, now moving on to my Leo Venuses. You are magnetic. You are regal. You are generous. You shine. You're meant to be seen. You're meant to be bold. You're meant to align with money when you are on a stage, whether that be a social media stage or whether that be an actual stage as an actor, an actress, or a public speaker. You're meant to shine by being in the public eye and allowing yourself to be seen. The key for you is your radiance. The way you shine is your money. That's where you're going to get your bag of money. Okay. Now moving on to my sweet Virgos. So Virgos are very detail oriented. They are very service based. Your monetization needs to be organized. These are people who are going to have very outlined, organized sales funnels. They're going to have email sequences. Anytime that you are looking to create wealth for yourself as a Virgo Venus, think about systems. How can I create a system that helps people to heal? If you're into health and wellness, which is very aligned for Virgo Venus, how could you create a system that will help people get results? Organize that system, create a flow. Week 1, do this. Week 2, do this. Those are going to be things that are really aligned with that Virgo. The abundance is in the details. So if you have a very detailed program, for you as a Virgo Venus, this is going to make perfect sense. And people are going to be drawn to it because that's very natural for you to be this detail-oriented, system creative in life. And typically around a healing energy or a system that helps heal. Money is in the details for you. Now moving on to a Libra Venus. So as a Libra Venus, they're very charming. They're very stylish. They're very relational, very harmonious. So you attract through aesthetics and partnerships. You align when there's an equal give and take. So yes, your charm will get you in a lot of doors, but if there's not an equal give and take, your harmony is out of balance, that's going to affect your abundance. Keep in mind that there needs to be a beautiful balance for you between giving and receiving. And also aesthetics. This is a person who would do really well with home decor and designing work, or even graphic design work. Anywhere there needs to be a keen aesthetic eye, Libras, especially Libra Venuses, know where it's at. So keep that in mind. Okay, now Scorpios. If you have a Scorpio Venus, when it comes to your money story, you are intense. You are transformative. So with this, shadow work would be a great place to dive in. Being a therapist would be great. Deep healing, talking about taboo topics. Maybe you're a sex therapist or other things that people don't like to talk about or things that are taboo. Maybe you're talking about the tarot or the occult. These are things that you just are natural for you. in this placement. So keep that in mind. I want you to remember overall, your intensity equals your currency. So it is okay for you to be intense. You need to be a little intense. That is where your money is. So if you're shying away because you think your intensity is scary, or you're like, I can't possibly make money talking about that, rethink that, question that, get curious about that. Okay? Again, your intensity is your currency. All right, now we move on to Sagittarius. So if my Sagittarius Venuses, you are meant to be expansive. You are meant to be adventurous. For you, monetize wisdom, travel, teaching, storytelling. Because there's this Jupiter element to Sagittarius, there's this unexpected windfalls coming in for you and really unique ways for you to make money. So maybe you become a travel blogger. Think outside the box and allow yourself to be open to any and all doors, because there is this luck element for you as a Sagittarius Venus. I want to keep that in mind. Sometimes we get so fixed in the way things need to be that we focus on this one door, and we think that the one door is the way that things have to happen, that all of a sudden we're not paying attention to the 12 doors that are surrounding us with all kinds of amazing opportunities. With this placement in particular, and let's be honest, all of us need to hear this. Be open. Be open to shifts, especially when we have this beautiful changing energy of Lionsgate stepping into this huge conjunction of Jupiter, Sirius, and Venus in Cancer that's happening Monday. So there's this big plot shifting, things like coming out of nowhere energy. But if we're so fixated on things, we're not going to see the big bag of money from this person we never would have even thought. So allow yourself to be open to things, this, for all of us. And this, since we're talking about these particular places, Sagittarius Venuses. Okay. All right. Now Capricorn Venuses. You're structured. You're strategic. This is like EO vibe. So you're here to build legacy income. You're here for the long game. Sorry, you're not here for quick wins. You are here to build something that lasts, something that builds wealth over time. So be open to seeing things differently and being open to new ways of creating and being in a co-creative space. But again, this is a long game for you. You're not here for quick wins, things like that. So again, long-term, long game, your currency is in building a foundation and a legacy. That's where your money is. Okay, now for my quirky little Aquarius. So if you have an Aquarius Venus, you're meant to be innovative. You're meant to be community driven. You profit from being different. Use tech and vision when you're creating things. So your weird energy is your currency. If you're trying to be like everybody else and fit in, and you're taking all these make money online courses and you're trying to do what everybody else is doing, it's not going to work for you. That's another caveat here. We have all these beautiful make money courses that are available, manifest this way, do all these things. And that worked for that one person and people who have maybe similar placements to that person. But every single one of us have different codes within us on how we're meant to make money and how we're meant to show up. So these one size fits all courses can get a little sticky, where they have great ideas. But if you're not implementing them with your unique spin and the way that you're meant to show up, they're not really going to have the same results that you signed up for. I just want to add that in there. That's my little on a soapbox moment. Okay. Now moving on to Pisces Venus. So if you have a Pisces Venus, you are very dreamy. You're mystical. You're artistic. You're here to monetize your spiritual gifts. You are meant to monetize art and intuition. Your dreams are very attractive. What do you daydream about? Those daydreams for a Pisces, that's your money story. Dive into where your daydreams go and make that your life. Allow those to be clues and breadcrumbs that are leading you in the direction of what you're meant to create in this lifetime. That's huge for Pisces. Okay, so the next placement I want you to look at is your second house. Your second house is where self-worth becomes wealth. It's ruled by Taurus and Venus. This is your I have house. It's how you earn, hold, and define security and worth. So we will go through all these signs. So if you have a second house that's ruled by Aries, it's going to be that fast, bold, direct way of building wealth. You're going to act on impulse and intuition and your gut when it feels right. Pay attention to that if your second house is ruled by Aries. Now, if you have your second house is ruled by Taurus, slow and steady, sensual, focusing on quality over quantity, those bougie vibes, making sure that you're stacking cash over time. You might have this tendency to want to buy the bougie things without stacking cash. So make sure there is that element of building things slow and steady, even if it's your putting in $100 every month. Slow and steady wins the race, even if you're putting in time and effort every day to build your self-worth. Again, that same energy is going to be there. So if Gemini rules your second house, you're going to have variety, ideas and words, monetizing your writing, your teaching, your speaking. That same energy as if you had that Gemini Venus, but here it's because you have that second house. All right. Now, if you have Cancer and Cancer rules your second house, you're going to need emotional security and nurturing to feel safe and secure. And when it comes to making money and creating wealth and abundance for yourself, there is going to be care-based or home-based businesses are going to make the most sense for you. Now, if you have Leo ruling your second house, you're going to be proud and magnetic. You're going to have this charge for visibility and radiance and brilliance and really allowing your self-worth to be tied to how bright you shine and allowing yourself to shine bright. That is a big deal for you. Okay, now moving on to Virgo. So if you have Virgo ruling your second house, you're going to be practical. You're going to be system-based. You're going to offer efficiency and healing and guidance. This has a little bit of that projector energy where you see better ways of doing things. Maybe you're seeing the efficiency of making different investments. This is how we build wealth over time with our second house. If you have Libra ruling your second house, aesthetic and social, you earn through art, beauty, and connection. So keep that in mind. And Scorpio here, intense and powerful, your transformation equals high ticket offers. Your ability to help transform people. Going into the depths with people is how you are meant to earn. So being that therapist who can dive in the shadows with people and hold space for them through transformation is a great career trajectory for you. Now, if you have Sagittarius ruling your second house, you're going to be more expansive, more ethical. You're going to want to teach truth. There is this little bit of Sagittarian energy that likes to be on a soapbox and take the moralistic high ground and be a little preachy. So that is going to be a little bit more natural with this placement with how you make money. So teaching truth, offering freedom pathways, thinking outside the box in different ways is really powerful here. Now, if you have Capricorn ruling your second house, you are meant to be grounded in the long term. So you're building legacy wealth. You're structuring a business. Now, here's an example of how you can alchemize. So my second house is ruled by Capricorn. So I have this grounded long-term, that's how I'm building wealth. And I'm meant to do that through structuring a business. But I also know my words are my currency. So how do I combine these two together? I'm showing up on a podcast, but I'm creating systems and products that are based in structure, that are based in transformation, and really helping people to step into building their own legacy. See how we can alchemize and put these things together where we think Gemini and Capricorn energy have nothing to do with one another. They're actually polar opposites, but we can use these energies together. Sometimes my Gemini Venus needs that grounded energy to build stuff, where if I just stayed in my like flighty Gemini energy, very little would get done. See how they balance each other and they actually work really well together. They create those structured systems for building wealth, for creating stability over time for myself and for my family. So your second house is ruled by Aquarius. You're going to go about things in an unconventional, futuristic way. Your income is going to come from innovation and working with the collective and creating products for the collective, stepping into new ways of being and doing. These are people who probably were first adapters of cryptocurrency and seeing that as a new innovation for the collective. Or if you have a second house Pisces, you're going to be more mystical. You're going to be more dreamy. You're going to need to be creative to monetize your creativity through healing, through channeling. Maybe you have channeling sessions. That's one of your offerings. And there's always going to be structure to all things. I am a huge proponent of following intuition, following flow, following what lights you up. But again, there needs to be this balance of feminine and masculine energies. We need to have, yes, we need that intuitive flow, but we need structure for our flow. So I get this question all the time, like, how do I balance hustle and flow? You need a little bit of both, to be honest. We can't just hustle all the time and be so driven by numbers. We also just can't be an intuition and big ideas coming in without the action. We need both. And with both of these working together and leaning into where things get to be a little bit easier for us, that's when we hit the sweet spot. That's where we hit our pocket. You know, we always talk about runners hitting their pocket, where the running just becomes rhythmic and easy. I did hit the pocket a few times when I was a runner, but not very often. So, but for you runners who get this, that pocket of sweet spot where you're in this easy rhythm, that's what I'm talking about. So here's some magic tools for activating that second house. Create a money altar. Altar is a visual representation of what you're meant to be calling it. This can be a vision board. It can be an item in your office or on your desk. Just having some type of visual connection and syncing with something that means abundance to you. Maybe you splurge and get a cool gold ornate item for your office, and that symbolizes bringing in more abundance for yourself. Just get creative. What speaks to you? There's no right or wrong way to do this. So just trust what speaks to you. Track your value, not just your income. List 3 ways that you offered value today. Our money is tied to the value that we perceive within ourselves. So be doing things every day that make you feel good about yourself. Dress up, hype yourself up. Be your own hype person. A lot of us have hype people in our lives that make us feel good, but at the end of the day, it's you, boo. You have to be the one who's in love with yourself. And that is the greatest love story of all time. So what is going to make you feel good about yourself? I know when I do my hair and I put on a nice shirt and I do myself up a little bit, I feel more empowered and I feel good. And I like to start my day every day looking at myself in the mirror and say, today I'm going to win. Today is the day I'm going to win. And that is the energy. Maybe you go for an abundance walk every day and you look at all the beauty around you and you can feel the wealth as you're walking down the streets. One of the things I like to envision on my daily walks, we know we get my little walk and talks on Instagram now and on TikTok, something I've actually really enjoyed stepping into is sharing my thoughts on the daily. Every day when I'm walking, I envision that I am walking on gold and that money is swirling around me and I'm feeling that wealth just surrounding me. So those are little things we can do to embody that worth, embody the feeling of prosperity, because it's all energetics. Before there's a dime in our account, it's all energetics. So again, mirror work. Continue saying those affirmations, continue seeing your value. I love you. You're amazing. You're badass. Those are the things I want you to practice doing with your mirror work, because again, it comes back down to your work. Now, switching gears a little bit from astrology into human design. So where can we find prosperity codes on our human design charts? If you are a manifestor, your prosperity comes from initiating boldly and being in charge of your power. You are such a powerful human. You are meant to ignite movements. You're meant to spark the fire, and people are naturally going to be drawn to whatever it is you're doing. But if you're hiding out, not sharing your ideas and not sharing your sparks, it's really hard for people to get on your bus. It's important for you to initiate and be bold. Show up. Show what's on your mind and on your heart so that the right people can get on your bus. But if you're quiet and you're hiding out, it's going to be hard for people to be drawn to you, and you to start to sift who is meant to be a part of whatever it is you're meant to create. Because there is something that every manifestor is here to birth and to create. You guys are the fire starters. You are the initiators. You're the bus driver. You decide where the bus is going, but if you have not decided where your bus is going, you're going to have a hard time finding people to get on your bus. So that's your money magnet energy. Now moving on to generators. So for generators, follow joy. Follow what lights you up, because literally you are the most magnetic humans on the planet when you are lit up by light. If you're so excited about paper clips and you are just blown away by how magnificent paper clips are, People are going to follow your account because you're excited about paperclips and you're showing new innovative ways to use paperclips. You can make money doing that. This is where things get to shift and change as we move through this evolution of us here on this planet. Is we are moving away from struggle. All these things that our ancestors had to go through, yes, those are encoded in our DNA. We know how to do hard things. We know how to struggle. We know how to do all that. We are learning and growing into life gets to be easy. Life gets to be fun. We get to co-create with the universe in ways that were maybe a little bit more blocked before. And this is where we're stepping into that co-creation process where if we're excited about paper clips and we think of new exciting ways to use paper clips, we can use that to make money. But we have to be open and receptive and willing to receive and allow things to be different. And for generator, it is directly tied to what lights you up. So allow yourself to monetize what lights you up. Here's a fun little story that just came to my mind that I want to share. So I love watching the show Shark Tank with my family. It's one of our favorite things to watch. And there's this one episode and this cute nerd. He was the cutest little nerd. He loved history. He loved sharing about history. He loved researching history. There's history nerds everywhere you go. But what he did is he created a mail subscription business where people subscribe and they get a little replica of history every month, whether that's a copy of a war letter or a piece of art and the history behind that. And people were signing up for this in droves. And he had gone TikTok famous. And it wasn't because he was attractive. It wasn't because he was smooth. It was because he got so crazy excited and magnetic when he started talking about history and how exciting it was and the story here and that story there. And people were drawn to that excitement. In so many ways, we are numb as a people. We want people who remind us that we're alive and we see their spark and we want to be attached to their passion and their excitement and we want to jump on board with whatever they are doing. And that is how generators shift the entire game. Generators really do. Generators imagine smoke. You guys are like the baseline of the planet. You create the energy for all the rest of us. So if you guys are stuck and lackluster and boredom and you're sleepwalking through life, you're not creating a whole lot of energy and shifting the baseline energy of the planet. But if you're stepping into, I'm excited about paperclips, I'm excited about history, and I started this business, and this is why I'm so excited about it, people are going to feel that and be so drawn to you. So again, what is the thing that lights you up? What keeps you up at night? What can you not shut up about? That's your moneymaker, friends. Get on board. And then we tie that into your Venus energy. How do we express that a little bit more? How do we tap into it more? And we tie it about your second house. How are we going to build this over the long run? And we build a plan. That's how we do things different. Moving on to my manifesting generators. Friends, you go fast. You're meant to pivot and pivot freely. You're meant to be the master of a lot of things. So a lot of times we get a lot of shame and guilt for manifesting generators that they're the jack of all trades, master of none. I hate that phrase because that has added a lot of weight and heaviness to my manifesting generators who are meant to be the jack of all trades and masters of a lot. And that's okay. I honestly think that the best way that I like to explain manifesting generators is they're on this Easter egg hunt throughout life. They are going after their interests. They're picking up this egg here, picking up this egg here, picking up this egg here, and they're creating this unique thing that is all them. That is what you're meant to do. You're meant to pivot. You're meant to change your mind. You're meant to be interested in this for 5 minutes and then move to something else because you mastered it and you're ready to move on. So allow yourself to pivot. Allow yourself to shape, shift, and to change. This is where I will have the convo sometimes with expansions because you guys get bored so easily. You have a tendency to give up, but it's not necessarily the right time to give up. So there's this conversation that I will have, or you should have with yourself. Am I giving up because I'm not seeing results fast enough? Or is it because I truly feel like it's complete and it's time to move on? So a lot of times we live in a world where if we don't see results right away, we give up. So I want you to think about the reason behind, especially as a manifesting generator, of why you want to pivot. Is it because you're bored? Is it because you're not seeing the results as quickly as you hoped you would? Or is it because you feel complete and it's time to move on to something else and you're feeling the pull to something else? Those are internal questions I want you to ask because again, your magic is in your pivot. Your magic is in how many different multifaceted offers that you're able to create. So again, finding that balance for yourself, but not just quitting because it's now an out, as opposed to really having those in-depth conversations with yourself. Want to add that caveat. Okay. All right. Now for my projectors, myself included. You are here to guide systems. You're here to wait for recognition, and you are here to have high value insight and have that equal high return. You literally should be paid for what you see, or not. How you see the world and the way you phrase things and the way that you see things so differently than everyone else. That is how you're meant to be paid. Every projector sees things totally different than the other projectors. I have lots of projector friends and we all see different things, which is so magical. And I love that. But pay attention to what really steps out for you when you focus. What can you not shut up about? What are you so intrigued with that you could spend hours and not be bored studying? That is your first clue of where you're meant to go and what you're meant to see. I could sit online and do research all day long about human design, astrology, personality, business planning, literally not tired at all. I could do it all day long. Or building out sales funnels. I have fun with this kind of stuff and creating strategy. So for me, that's my magic area. That's where I do really, really well. That's where I shine, and also guiding people to do those things. So finding out for yourself as a projector, what's that thing that you could sit all day and do and not, notice how I say sit, because no projectors out there being busy all day long. We just don't do it. But what is the thing that you are so drawn to and it doesn't drain you at all? That's your sweet spot. Okay. Reflectors. You are meant to flow with the moon. You're meant to prosper in the right places and the right people. I talk about this a lot, how reflectors are meant to be these passenger princesses. They have this magic gift of being guided by the universe, being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right time to invest in things, just trusting that they are being guided. And this is where their money will flow from, is being in those right places at the right time, having the right connections with the right people at the right time. And that is what your moneymaker is, reflector friend. So keep that in mind. Okay, so there are some particular gates that I like to call money gates. I look at these a little bit different. So you might go online and look up abundance gates on human design, and you might not see these. But what I have noticed from reading for hundreds of people at this point is that these ones are more of a gate by when you step into this energy and you step into this way of beingness, it unlocks more abundance for you. So these are maybe not the traditional ones that you see on lists, because these are ones from my own personal experience and my own personal opinion are abundance gates. So the first gate I like to look at is if you have gate 10 activated, that is the gate of joy. So you are meant to be in this wonderment of joy and being lit up by life. So if you have gate 10, there almost is a shadow side of feeling like you don't love life enough. You are a person who is meant to romanticize your life, to see things and celebrate them and celebrate the little things of life and just be in this joyful energy of, oh my goodness, I have so much magic in my life. And if you have this gate 10 activated and you are feeling in that shadow energy, you're detached from life, you're not lit up by it anymore, you're not seeing the magic in it, a little practice I would like to urge you to do is every night before you go to bed, either think it in your brain or write it out, 3 things that are magical about your day. Because spotlight effect, when we focus on the magic in our lives, we see more of it. And maybe the magic is I didn't yell at my kids today as much as I normally do. Or I was able to, hold my tongue and not hurt somebody with my words. Or I made every green light on my way home. Whatever it is, celebrate the joyful wins. Be in the energy of romanticizing your life and seeing all the beautiful things in it and really being lit up and in love with your life. That will be unlock the abundance for you. Now we go to gate 21, which is part of that money lane. And gate 21, you are here to play on the material plane. There is this energy of attaching to this desire for money because this is an ego center. So it is that desire center. So you are here to desire money. You are here to go after and be motivated by money. Allow yourself to be. Don't let yourself be shamed that you want money. You're meant to want money. You're meant to desire money. The more we have good-hearted people going after money and creating crazy wealth, well, that's how we turn this whole thing around. As if we have good-hearted people who have pure hearts, who are really ridiculously wealthy. We need more of that. Okay. Another off the beaten path one that I look to as an abundance gate is gate 25. And this is this gate of childlike wonder. These are people who are really meant to look at life through the lens of childlike wonder. They're meant to have this almost rose colored glass way of seeing the world. They're meant to see it as a child with awe, with wonder. And a lot of times the shadow side of this is they had something happen in their early childhood that robbed them of being a child early on. So they're actually having to reclaim their sense of wonder. These are kids who probably believed in Santa way past the time it was cool to believe in Santa, or they believed in fairies for a really long time. There's just this beautiful childlike innocence to people with gate 25. They naturally look a little bit younger than everybody else. But the more you can not be a super adult and not take yourself so seriously, especially if you have gate 25, there's magic there, there's abundance there. So again, take off the serious adulting, obviously pay your bills, be an adult, but not have it be so serious. Have fun, play with life, allow things to be goofy, allow things to be silly. Okay, now moving on to gate 55. And this is the celebration of the little things. These are people who get all kinds of excited about a sunset. They get their coffee from the coffee place and it's the most beautiful foam art and they're just all lit up about it. These are people who are meant to just celebrate and be in awe of the little things. They're the ones who are watching an ant on the sidewalk struggling with a piece of a crumb and just in awe of it. So allow yourself to be in awe of life. Allow yourself to get excited about little things. Get excited about sunsets. Get excited about rainbows. Get excited about foam art or whatever it is that is exciting for you. But the more you are in that energy of abundance and seeing the abundance all around you and celebrating these beautiful, abundant, prosperous, beautiful energies that are everywhere. We live in such a beautiful place. We live in such a beautiful world. If we just look around and open our dang eyes, we'll see it. And if you have gate 55, the more you focus on these things, the more abundance follows. So keep that in mind. As we sum this up, what are some Lionsgate activation rituals that you can work with as we step into this weekend? The portal is open now, and it will be felt for several days before and after August 8th. So it's open right now. You're already starting to feel it. I know a lot of people I've talked to are seeing a lot of their stuff come up, a lot of things for you to look at, some stories that maybe need to be deconditioned or untangled a little bit so that you can step into this newer version of you that's just waiting to step up in through this portal that's coming up. So try these things, okay? So try light code visualization. So sit in the sunlight or a golden candle, visualize golden light pouring into your body and into your energetic field, and anchor in the energy of your Venus, of your second house, in your heart center. Almost envision those things that we talked about as codes unlocking for you and coming online through this portal. So let's say, with my Gemini, so I'm going to envision that going in and unlocking my voice is my currency. The more I talk, the more money I make. Those are things that I can say. And then, tapping into that second house of Capricorn, I'm building legacy. I'm building a brand that stands this test of time. Those are some affirmations that I can step into and invite in to be online as I step through this portal. So think about those things, as you go through this portal. What do you have to lose? Try it. See if it makes a difference. I guarantee you're going to start feeling these shifts if you stand in belief and trust the process. Write a wealth. I call in soul aligned prosperity through, and then going back through some of the things we talked about. Include your Venus sign, your energetic type, your second house vibe. Include all of this. You could even go into Chat GPT and say, will you help me build a wealth declaration based on me being a projector with my Gemini and Venus and a second house activated by Capricorn? It'll spit something right out for you, and it's usually beautiful. Little hack there, okay? Dance or walk as if you are wealth. Embody it. Embody your future self who already has it all. You would not see it or feel it or want it if it wasn't already yours in the future. You're feeling that desire for it because it's already yours. There's just some little steps in the way to get you there, but act as if you already have it, believe it, call it in, and again, follow where you're guided. None of us are meant to have a 10-year plan, and none of us are meant to even have a 1-year plan. Focus on your desires and what your next guided action step is. That's all you need to do. We don't need to have this all mapped out. We don't have to have it all figured out. one step at a time, friends. One little step at a time. That's why I want you to call back from these big fancy dreams you got and really think small about what is the next aligned action I can take to get to this big goal. All right, some journal prompts here. What does abundance feel like in your body? Does it feel like freedom? Does it feel light? These are conversations that are really beautiful to have. Those are some of the things I have for Lionsgate and for unlocking wealth codes on your birth chart and on your human design chart. If you loved this and you want more aligned guidance, more help, and really alchemizing how these things work together and building out a strategy or plan to get there, especially if you're a soul-led business owner or artist. Some of those like business-minded things are kind of a little outside our comfort zone. I've been doing this a long time. I really know how to build a strategy. So let's book a call. Let's do a strategy session, whether that be on a month-to-month basis, or I do have a one-off option. Let's map out your money codes. Let's map out how we're going to step into this or how we can align your voice to match what it's meant to. Some things that we can do. Also, make sure you grab the Lionsgate ritual guide that I created. There's lots of beautiful tools, lots of journal prompts. I even did a nerdy thing and made a playlist for you that's in there. That's another really great way to tap into this energy and really make the most of this beautiful weekend, this beautiful conjunction we have in Cancer on Monday, where we are getting lots of luck happening and opening for us. I want to remind you, you are not here to fit into a system. You're here to embody your design and rewrite the rules based on you. We all have our own individual codes and they are unique to you, and the world needs what you have to offer, not this pre-written plan that has been shoved in your face most of your life. If this episode lit something up in you, trust that that's your wealth frequency turning on. Let it lead. We are all meant to be fabulously wealthy, and we do that by owning our uniqueness, owning our worth, and not settling for less, friends. Much love and have a great rest of your week. Till next week.